Here's another question from the Beis Rivka stack. Why is the 10th commandment not to be jealous? We discussed all of the others, and this one seems to get overlooked. In other words, she's asking two opposite questions. Number one, why is there one of the Aseret Adibris do not covet on the one hand? On the other hand, why don't we talk about it much? It's a really wonderful question. And to be sure, I don't know the answer to the question completely. It's a question which I find interesting. There's Leisa Achmed and there's Leishis Ave, right? What's the difference between Leisa Achmed, which I guess is translated in English as do not covet, and Leishis Ave, which is translated in English as do not lust? They're different things. And you have to look in Halacha, look in Rambam, and in Halacha about how these lavim are defined. And my understanding, which is limited, but my understanding of it is what separates these commandments from do not murder and do not commit adultery and do not worship idols is the fact that the sin is not in the commandment, in what's going to happen as a consequent. Being jealous of another person is an emotion in one's heart. How bad is that? You know, people have all kinds of emotions. The problem is that the jealousy doesn't stay there. In other words, if a person has a jealous tendency and they suppress it, they don't give it voice, they're fulfilling the Isra of Leisachmed and Leisasave. But if they think about it, and moreover, they don't only think about it in a lustful and a jealous way, but they think about it in terms of how they're going to change the situation by taking from what another person has. So the halacha describes, the Chazal describes, the halacha describes where the lust leads. And it could literally lead to murder. It starts off with jealousy, and it continues with a lack of ethics, then it continues with theft or worse. And it's this dibur, the last of the 10 commandments, Leisesave and Leisachmed, are speaking not to what the person is doing, but what's going to happen as a consequence of what this person is doing. And the Eibishter puts into the Seres Adibris what Chazal would call it Aglayim Ledover, a commandment that doesn't speak to the commandment itself, but to what's going to come from it, how it's going to cascade into much, much worse. This is my answer to your question. I don't know if it's correct, and I don't know if it's adequate. But this is how I explain it to myself.